You're listening to Creative Conversations with Cleare Allen, where we illuminate and educate through entertainment, social consciousness, and intriguing topics for the heart, spirit, and soul. For scene one today, let me guess, you're here because you're wondering what in the world does Kendrick Lamar have to do with the grieving process? Well, I have a confession I want to share with you today. Stay with me. Welcome to scene one. We also call it the mini topic. So, I have a confession to make. During the time of my mother's death and subsequently thereafter, there was a song by Kendrick Lamar. It was actually written by Mr. Duckworth and M. Spears. I know that it was produced by Soundwave, a famous producer. You can find him on Instagram easily. And I tell you, the song may have not been written for the grieving process, but it really touched me in a way that helped me kind of stay afloat at times during my grieving process of losing my mom. And those of you who've lost someone as monumental as your mother know that you go through an array of emotions. I mean, you could be the biggest, the brightest, you could be the most intellectual, you could be the most spiritual, and I tell you, and the most solid. And it will bring you to your knees. It will make you question so much. And as I was doing a little research about the song Feel, I guess someone asked what was he feeling? Or why did he write this particular song? And so from my research, it says that he was writing about the wide range of feelings, particularly the negative ones that come with stardom. And it's almost like he feels like no one's looking out for him, and cites a strong desire to isolate himself from friends and family. And it's interesting because those same feelings I think that you might get with stardom could be very similar to the grieving process. There were times when I can remember taking the train particularly, and I'd be in the subway in New York City, and there's thousands and millions of people down there, and you want to keep yourself together, but everybody's going through different things. I didn't want to break down and cry, and so sometimes this song kind of helped me because I was feeling these types of emotions. I was feeling like I don't know who people are anymore. I don't know my place in the world anymore. I don't know how I'm supposed to proceed without my mother in my life. And so this song kind of touched on that. For me, this song is a metaphor for a bomb going off in your life, and you're trying to make heads and tails of it because, when you lose someone like your mom, it's like your world turned from color to black and white. And you're just kind of in that black and white, and you're surrounded by people all the time who are seeing in color, but they don't know that you see in black and white. And so that's kind of what the song represented to me. And when I was hurting for whatever reason, these were a lot of the emotions I was going through. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at all the lyrics really for the first time since this song was released back in, I believe, 2017. That's when all hell broke loose in my life, when my mother was diagnosed and subsequently passed away. So it's just interesting the timing of when this song was released as well. But as I'm looking at the lyrics, I'm just going to share with you a few of the lyrics that kind of stuck out to me. I'm not going to hold you long, but I just wanted to share with you something that helped me, and maybe it's going to help someone else. The song starts off with, "Ain't nobody praying for me." And when I tell you, it felt like a ton of bricks, because you're in so much pain that you really feel like no one's praying for you. And for those of you who are like deep all the time, I know that that's not the case, and I'm sure someone was praying. I know someone was praying, but it doesn't necessarily feel like that, especially in the aftermath when you're back alone again, so to speak. So when it starts off with "Ain't nobody praying for me," I was like, wow, that's exactly how I feel right now. I feel like nobody cares, nobody's praying, I've lost my mom. This is my new life. Another set of lyrics that touched me. "I feel like I'm losing my focus. I feel like I'm losing my patience. I feel like my thoughts in the basement. I feel like you're miseducated. Feel like I don't want to be bothered. I feel like you may be the problem." Oh my goodness. How about this one? "Feel like I ain't feeling you at all. Feel like removing myself. No feelings involved." That is something that really spoke to me, because I'm like, wow, I just want to dismiss myself out of everything. Here's another one. "The feeling of an apocalypse happening, but nothing is awkward. The feeling won't prosper. The feeling is toxic. I feel like I'm boxing demons, monsters, false prophets, scheming, sponsors, industry promises." These particular lines, wow. When you're going through that grieving process, I believe that you begin to question so much. And, the things that he mentioned in those lyrics were some of the very things I just began to question, from every aspect of your life, from corporations to the churches to society to America you just began to, like I said, you see things in black and white that's very different. It's a whole new world. I love the line that says, "I mean this for imposters." He doesn't really care who's offended by this truth. It's for imposters. So I guess if you're an imposter, you would be offended. And that's kind of how I felt too. I was like, wow, this is exactly what I'm feeling. I don't care about what anyone else is thinking at this moment in time. I have to heal. And for those of you who are going through a similar situation, I know we've had a rough year. A lot of you are going through so much grief. And I just want to encourage you, your path to healing, your path during the grieving process, it's not going to be cookie cutter. And I had no idea that this song would touch me in the way that it did. There was a time I couldn't even listen to a hymn because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle listening to a hymn because all I knew was my mommy's not here. And this hymn right here is telling me it's going to be all right, and I don't feel all right. Kendrick Lamar won the Pulitzer Prize, and that just tells you right there how heartfelt his lyrics are. I thank God for him writing this song. It really helped me in ways I could have never imagined. You have now entered into Act 1. We also call it the main event. Hey everybody, I want to wish all the mothers and mother figures out there a happy Mother's Day. And I also want to acknowledge that there are many of us who don't have our mothers this year, and some of you have fresh wounds. Others of us are still trying to get through the wounds, and I want to acknowledge that, because a lot of times we do forget. I know when my mother was still here, sometimes, it's easy to just go through that day and not reach out to someone and say, hey, I know that you don't have your mother, but know that I'm praying for you. I'm here for you. I know it's a tough day. I want to dedicate this to Talena Skye for her vision. She came to me with this vision, and we produced the song Mama. So here's just a little something. I will admit I'm a little rusty, so just know I haven't really seriously played in several years, really since my mother was diagnosed and ultimately passed away. So a little scary for me, but I felt led to do this. Mama, why did you have to leave? I really miss you. This really feels like a dream. And I'd give anything if I could just see your face and erase the pain of yesterday. Hold you another day. Mama, why did you have to leave? I really miss you. This really feels like a dream. And I'd give anything if I could just see your face and erase the pain of yesterday. Hold you another day. Well, welcome to Creative Conversations. We're so excited to be able to speak with you about your song Mama, and also your ministry and other things that you're doing. What was your inspiration for the song Mama?
When I lost my mom, I felt numb. I was sitting and talking to God about my life. I remember asking him to, please help me understand what my life and my purpose was about. I just couldn't put my thoughts into process as to where my life was going to go at that point.
Right.
And after feeling like so overwhelmed with everything, I just sat there, just meditating on the word, talking to God, just reflecting on everything. And there was some things that was left unsaid that I wanted to share with my mom. And that was like most of the, more grief added on top of the grief of her dying, because I remember the night I was working, I was supposed to come to the house to help relieve my brother with the duties of us caring for her. And I just felt so overwhelmed by work. I was tired and I didn't go. And that's the night she passed. It was really hard for me. And I remember writing and then crying and then talking to God and then crying again. I don't know, it just came out of me. I just started rapping the words that I was feeling really expressively and crying uncontrollably. And I'm saying, God, how could this be right now? I know we all have to leave. I know we got to go, but I was really not ready to lose my mom at that moment. I just can't even put it into words, all of what I was feeling. So I just felt to write a song. And as I was writing this song, the emotions and the feelings, everything that was bottled up, it started getting so easy to express it. And that's how I knew this had to be a tribute song, because it was helping me come to terms with what was left unsaid, what was on my heart, the things I needed to convey. So that's how that came about.
Wow, that is awesome. Yeah, and definitely, as I've listened to the song and participated with the song, I've definitely felt those emotions so clearly. I mean, they really came from heaven from you. What is your talent background?
I do wear a lot of hats right now. I mean, I have a background in teaching. I've been working with kids for so many years, but I've always wanted to do music. I've never actually pursued it professionally, but I remember being 8 years old, I used to write music, and I remember starting this rap group. This is so embarrassing to talk about, but I started this rap group with my cousin, and my name was Sweet C, which is my first name. My real name is Cherise, so I called myself Sweet C. My cousin was Shy Love, and we were doing this rap, and I remember my grandmother hearing us. We were up all night just singing and rapping in the kitchen, and I hear my grandmother, "What? Who left the radio on?" And she got up and she was like, "Wait, that's not the radio. You guys are singing, rapping." It was hilarious.
What were the steps in you writing and producing the song? What can you give us any kind of steps to your process?
Well, this is kind of weird. The way that I write songs, it's funny. I kind of tell people that I don't know if you're familiar with Eminem's writing style, but one day I heard his interview and he was saying that whenever a song comes to his head, and if he has like a piece of paper on him, he'll write a lyric or he'll like record it in his phone or something like that. That's kind of how I do stuff.
Wow.
So like it's just so weird. Like it just comes to me and I don't want to lose it. So like I'll jot it all down, and then when I get a moment and I put it all together, it just comes together, and then whatever God puts on my heart to write into it, that's how I flow, with the song. But this particular song, I remember being at work and I was writing the song and I was like, this has to be a tribute to my mom. And I was stumped on the chorus. It was initially meant to be a full rap song, but I wanted it to be more powerful, and I wanted to be like the chorus to be like a real powerful thing. And I remember hearing, when your mom had passed, and I was like so blown away that you were sharing the same testimony.
Yeah. I had written a poem one night. I actually awakened in the middle of the night, and Raw Blue Hue kind of hit my spirit. And then that morning I just got up immediately and wrote it. So I posted it, and it was, to my surprise, I didn't even know anybody was really paying attention. And you contacted me maybe a month or two later and said, hey, I think, we have something here. You had already written something, then I wrote this poetry. So it was just amazing how it all came together.
It really was. And like, I loved your poem because it was so touching, and I was trying to decipher what to use in the song, and that raw blue hue part that just, like, I know that's the title of the whole poem, but that section that we used in the song was amazing. How God just put this all together. It's beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. And when I think about how the song came together, and I mean, we lost our moms essentially 1 year and a day apart.
Yes. And what made me think of asking you, I remember when we were singing together in music ministry, my mom loved you so much. She loved your voice. Wow. And I said, this would be perfect to ask her. But I prayed about it first. And I said, Lord, I don't do anything without you telling me. I'm seeking your guidance. And I'm asking you to lead me on this. And I prayed about it, and he put it on my heart to contact you. And it just felt so perfect. And I'm just so thankful that I was able to contact you and you agreed to do it. So I'm just excited to see what God is going to do with it.
Yes, absolutely. I was honored, and I tell you, it was also therapeutic, and I also felt like we were essentially helping others. And I can remember one of my cousins even coming to me and saying, hey, I listened to this song on the way to work every single morning. And I know she lost her mother in 2010. So it was like, wow, to reach someone, 8 years later, and she found something to connect to even help her in her grieving process, even years later. I thought that was amazing. So just to hear different people, and I know that the song is really just starting to stretch even more than when it was released, because I see now we've got the music video, and that was amazing in itself, because a lot of times music videos are done right when the songs are released or shortly thereafter. In this case, the music video was done a year to 2 years later. So explain how in the world did a music video come about? How did you have the opportunity to do it, especially now in a pandemic?
Exactly.
I mean, who's shooting music videos in a pandemic?
Exactly. So it's so funny because I initially wanted to do a video for this, but life happens. And I was taking my time because I'm still working on my EP. There's things that God's putting in me concerning this project. So I didn't want to rush it. And I knew eventually there would be video, and I know, like you said, people do things at the time they release a song and it comes out. But everybody's process is different. You don't know what other people are going through, how God is leading them. So I just put it in his hands, and I just let my life flow with how it was going. I remember submitting the song online. I saw this music campaign. It was on Facebook, and it was saying, hey, do you have a song you'd like us to hear about? Submit it, and if it's picked, we will contact you and take it from there. So I just did it. I just submitted, and I honestly forgot about it because I submitted my music to so many different things, but I particularly forgot about this one. And I remember one day, this was in October, early October, I got a phone call from the guy who handles it, and he was like, "Hi, Talena Skye," and I'm like, "Yes," and he's like, "Hi, I'm from Positive Community. You submitted your song, and we came across it, and we love this song. We are really, really, really loving this song, and we're actually going to upload it within a few weeks, but we need a video from you." And I was like, my mouth was open, like, what? I don't have a video, and this is a pandemic. Like, how are we doing this? What? So I said, allow me to be transparent for a minute. I said, first off, I want to say thank you so much. And if you could just freshen my memory, like where did you see my song? Like what? And then he was telling me how I uploaded on Facebook. So it kind of, it brought it back to my memory. And then I told him, I don't have a video. I do intend to do one, but life happens. I'm just dealing with a lot of other things I'm juggling, but I just haven't gotten around to it. And I'm working on my EP as well. So he was like, well, I may be able to help you. I have someone that can actually do this video for you so we can get the ball rolling. And he put me in contact with Stephen Council, who is the film director for the Positive Black Dad Productions. And the rest is history. And when I tell you, these people are so amazing. Him and his wife, they're a team, and such godly people. Their spirits are so beautiful, and they were so patient. Their vision and everything. They worked with me. They asked me, "What do you see this video going? Like, what type of message do you want to convey?" And I told them the vision of what I wanted to, for the viewers to get from it. And I gave him all of my ideas. He worked with it. He added what he wanted to it, and it just gelled so nicely. It was really a godsend. And I'm just so amazed.
For anyone who has lost their mom, what advice would you give them in their grief process?
My message is, even though you're feeling that type of pain, we all experience that type of pain at some point in our lives. We just have to trust God. We just have to trust him. Sometimes you may not understand the plan. We may not understand why this person left and why this is what it is. Just like I didn't understand why I have to be the caregiver now for my dad. Like if you would see it, I don't want to give away the elements of the video, but I didn't have a great relationship with my dad growing up. And now being his caretaker now, because my mom was and she passed, that's like a big chunk for me to have to swallow. It's a tall order because I'm like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? Right. So if I didn't have my faith in God, I think I wouldn't say I would have taken my life, but I probably wouldn't be the person I am today because of the relationship I had. Like I just felt I had a lot of answers a lot of questions needed to be answered. And I'm like, God, why is this happening to me? Like, what? My mom's gone. I'm dealing with this. Like, are you kidding me? But you just have to trust him, trust his plan, trust he knows better than us. We may think we have the answers, but we have no clue. God knows what's best for us. Sometimes we think we walk in forgiveness, but God says, no, there's another level of forgiveness I want to take you through. And you may need to walk through this level, and then you find things out about yourself that you never knew. And his mission is to keep our hearts pure. So I believe what I'm dealing with right now is for that reason. So it gets better, and I'm just thankful. And my message is just never give up, trust God, stay in his word, because his word is what keeps us grounded, and his word is what helps us.
And how would someone go about getting in touch with you if they were interested in collaborating with you or even just giving you feedback and wanting to connect with you? How would they go about doing that?
They can reach me at my website, www.talenaskye.org, or they can email me at talenaskye888@gmail.com, or they can find me on Instagram, Talena Skye.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else that you just want the public to know about you?
Well, yeah. This mission that I'm on for Christ, it's a serious one. There may be things, my EP that's coming out, I'm working on, and I'm pushing to have it done definitely by the new year. And it's almost complete. The reason why I called it Arise is based off of Isaiah 60 that says, arise and come forth. And I feel like that's God speaking to me, telling me to put everything aside. Stop second guessing yourself. Trust me and come forth. A lot of what I'm doing right now, I believe should have been done, but it had to take my mom leaving for me to be bold enough to do this. And I mean, I know God has his timing for things, but the reason why I named that Isaiah 60 is because a lot of it talks about shedding light on darkness and things of that nature. And that's what's happening right now in the world. So the artist that I am is someone who's a mouthpiece for God, someone who's radical to speak about my faith, and someone who I would say is not afraid to share her faith with the world, especially on topics that people would not normally talk about. So that's the type of gospel rapper that I am.
This goes out to everyone who ever lost a mother. Be encouraged, have faith, and never give up. Lord, I praise you for my life. There's never been a day that I doubt you in this life. I need you to take my hand and help me understand that your plan is for me to prosper in this life. All this pain I feel, it's hard to see. Every day I cry, never thought I'd watch my mama die. She was strong, no matter the storms that life dealt. When she left me, everything I felt. She was the vessel you chose to bring me through, a black queen. I'm amazed how she rose to be in you. Mama, you're a queen. If nobody ever told you, heaven has a crown for you now. So many tears fell from my eyes as I prayed and prayed for everything to be alright. God help me to stay strong, I can't fathom that. How she can be here and gone, can't believe that. Mama, is a friend who's always there. Don't ever take her for granted. One day she won't be here. You brought me in this world, raised me up to be in God. Now I'm living life without you. It's hard, mama. I know we gotta die one day. Never thought that this day would come. You would leave me so early. Sadness in my heart. Yeah, without you it's tough. But my faith in God always keeps me looking up. And how I thank God for you, mama. You taught me to stand strong through all of life's drama. You worked hard day and night to care for me and provide a life that wasn't always so kind, but you tried, doing the best you could do. I'm a strong woman now because of you. In this life it will be things we'll never comprehend, but I know one day I'll see you again. Without you, completely new. This world without you, raw blue hue. This world without you, raw blue hue. Raw blue hue. This world without you. Fighting to stay focused in the haze of memories, wanting to hear your voice in the maze of sympathies. I say I feel robbed, it's clinical. If I say I feel weak, it's medical. I'm okay, emotional. What stage am I in depends on the day, moment, or hour. My lens sits on a tower. It's not a perfect program studied in a book, not a performance that had a dress rehearsal. The before and after should be the title of the master grief book. As the line was drawn in silence, your laughter. Raw blue hue, this world without you. I'm trying to survive without you, mama. Why do you have to leave? Mama, you're my queen. I really miss you. Mama, you're my queen.
Check out a new episode of Creative Conversations every Sunday on your favorite social media platform. If you have a topic you'd like to have a conversation about, email us at becleareallen@gmail.com. Sign up for notifications so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening.